Moon Sisters Mondays. So unleash your feminine power through divine feminine astrology. We're looking at the astrology of the moon, Venus, and the sun this week, and how to use these energies to realize your potential. So we start this week of September 30th with the waning, getting smaller crescent moon in Virgo, right? So Venus is in Scorpio and the sun is in Libra, right? Because we had the September equinox last week when the sun entered Libra. And Mercury is cazimi today, meaning Mercury and the sun are meeting together exactly today. So let's talk about all this. So what does all this mean for you? What do you feel as I say all of that? Whether you know astrology or not, right? What do you notice in your body? Pause if you need a moment to check in. I'm a huge proponent of encouraging you to connect into your lived experience first and foremost, right? We're all different. We all have different natal charts. And the beauty of divine feminine astrology is trusting your own experience, right? Not overriding yourself and your experience with what I or anyone else says. That's what I feel really passionate about with divine feminine astrology. So let's start with talking about the waning crescent moon in Virgo today. The moon is losing light, right? It's traveling back to the sun for the new moon eclipse on Wednesday. We are in that internally reflective time of the moon cycle, right? As it moves to the dark of the moon. It's time to gather our thoughts and listen inside as we prepare for this new moon eclipse, right? So tune into what you're feeling. What are you feeling called to focus on for this next moon cycle, starting on Wednesday with this solar eclipse, right? So the moon is in Virgo. It's in the priestess sign of the feminine, the one who pays attention to and notices everything, right? As she listens and communes with her soul, she is a serving spirit sign in alchemical astrology. That's her sacred work, right? To see the patterns and notice what's going on with the earth and the sky and the animals and the plants and the trees and everything, to tune us into the spiritual exhibited here on the earth around us, right? She's the one who tells us the new moon eclipse is coming on Wednesday and reminds us to prepare for our new moon ceremony. I'll share more about the new moon and the eclipse in a moment, but first, let's talk about everything that's happening today, right? So Venus, our divine feminine planet, is continuing her depth diving in Scorpio, water sign, deepest water sign, feeling her feelings and then cultivating energy within her body, right? That's what Scorpio's really all about, is like running the juice in the body, more life force and energy in the body. So Venus in Scorpio, she's the one who knows that going into our shadows, right? The dark spots that we keep hidden is where we really find the juice, the life force energy, right? Because that's what we're using to kind of keep things hidden. And when we face that and unleash that, then we find our true gifts are what's really hidden there. And so that's where there's that surge of energy, because we're not using our energy to like keep this thing held down. So this Venus in Scorpio is a perfect energy as we come to the end of this eclipse portal, right? Supporting us. And Mercury and the sun are meeting today, cazimi, right? Also known as meeting in the heart of the sun, right? Love that. Our messenger of the gods, Mercury, is connecting into and listening to the messages from the heart of spirit, the sun today, right? Or the heart of the goddess is another way that we could look at it. So it's a time of when we can really it's a perfect energy to listen with, commune with, tune in with, to ourselves, because the messenger, our thinking, mind, communication, understanding planet, is meeting in the heart of like the goddess, spirit, representation. So there's alignment there leading us into the alignment of the eclipse coming on Wednesday, right? All of this is happening in Libra. So you may hear messages around relationships, right? Which is a theme of Libra. First, it could be with others, but also with yourself, right? That's the most important relationship that we all have. And it's the one that ultimately impacts all the others. So the moon enters Libra on Tuesday, and we have the Libra new moon solar eclipse on Wednesday, right? This is what's closing the eclipse window with this moon and sun meeting for the new moon. Their paths are crossing over each other, right? That's how an eclipse works, right? The path of the moon and the path of the sun from our earthly view are crossing over each other. So you could look at this as like, this is a meeting of soul, the moon, right? This is what the moon represents on our charts, the soul, and spirit, the sun, in Libra, again, around relationships with others and with ourselves, that lends itself to helping our relationships with others. So the new moon is the start of the monthly moon cycle. It's a time of stillness and quiet. Many women begin their menstrual cycles at the new moon. It's that kind of energy, right? That feeling of starting our cycle when we just want to like be still and get under the covers, not go to work, have time to ourselves, right? So that energy that asks us to go inward and commune with ourselves and our souls, right? This energy is ramped up by it being a solar eclipse, because the moon and the sun are so directly aligned with each other, with the moon literally blocking out the sun in parts of South America, right? So whether you can visually see the eclipse or not, we're all experiencing the energy of it in some way, of these two celestial bodies, their paths crossing and coming so close to each other. Where other new moons, the moon can be above the sun or below the sun. So it's not an eclipse where they're in that exact alignment, but obviously close together. And the new moon is an important energy for us when we're seeking to create our lives with intention, right? So with this eclipse, this new moon eclipse, listen, what do you hear inside you? What intention over this coming moon month will support your overall vision for yourself, right? What's something that you're dreaming about, that you have a vision about? And what is a small action you can take over this moon month to move yourself towards your dreams, your bigger visions, your larger intentions? The new moon supports this fresh start energy. It's a way that we can be tuned into the cyclical nature of the earth and the divine feminine in general, right? This one being an eclipse is even like more ramped up, right? So you may want to focus on the Libra theme of relationships I mentioned, but again, is there some action you want to take to help one of your relationships? Or is there an action you need to take within yourself to support your relationship to yourself that helps bring a part of your vision to life for you, right? So on Friday, the moon enters Scorpio. So now we're done with the eclipse. We're into the waxing part of the moon cycle. It enters Scorpio and meets with Venus in Scorpio on Saturday for the next chakra gate in the Venus cycle. So I'm sure a bunch of you are familiar with the Venus cycle, but if you're not, Venus repeats the same cycle every 19 months. It's got these 4 different phases, and she's currently in the third of the 4 phases in her evening star phase. So we can see her in the western sky a little after sunset, right? She's the first celestial body, the first star, but actually a planet that you would see after the sun sets. So look on Friday and especially on Saturday nights to see the newly waxing crescent moon, gaining light crescent moon, meet with Venus in the sky. It's such a beautiful thing to see, and it's an amazing way to tune into the divine feminine. So following the oldest myth we have written down, right? Literally, the oldest myth we have written is about Venus and the Venus cycle. And so this particular meeting coming on Saturday signifies the goddess Venus moving through the third gate as she moves out of the underworld. So when Venus was with the sun, we say Venus was in the underworld. And this meeting of Venus with the moon is this is the third meeting as Venus has come out of the underworld. And there's 7 gates in that original myth. So this is the time of we've reached the solar plexus chakra, the third chakra, as we move out of the underworld with Venus in the evening sky. So this is a month to focus on reclaiming our third chakra, solar plexus chakra, feminine power, right? That's what the solar plexus is about. So you could weave this energy, reclaiming your feminine power in your upper belly, solar plexus, into your new moon intention as well. So these can dovetail together. And then on Sunday, the moon enters Sagittarius. The explorer adventurer archetype gets activated. And this is really nice timing after this depth diving of the eclipse window. So it's time to get into the Sagittarius fire, focus our energy outward, right? Enough healing work, like let's party. We've come out of the eclipse window. We've survived it. So that's it for this week. So see you next Monday for next week's Moon Sisters Monday, when I'll be discussing Jupiter's going retrograde and Pluto stationing direct, while the waxing first quarter moon is happening as well. And we'll talk about what to do with that energy as we keep taking baby steps towards the lives we most desire to live. Comment and like below if you feel so inspired, or head over to my website, the link below, and sign up for my weekly email and receive these Moon Sisters Mondays in your inbox. Hope you have a great new moon eclipse this week.